Hi guys, today we're talking about the last part of the Fresh Start Transitional Journal. Just as a reminder, this is the Fresh Start Journal where you kind of check in, you go through and you think about all the things that happened last year or in the last phase, and you appreciate them all and you say thank you to all of them. You see what you need to take forward and what you want to leave in the past. You get to write down all of like the time capsule things where you write about all the cool things that you did so that you have some memory keeping in there too. So we left off talking about your focus word, some mantras and some reminders here, and then to actually help you with a little bit of planning, not like super duper detailed planning yet, but just to overall do like a big overall look at the year ahead. You write about what you're looking forward to and what you think you can achieve. So I have a couple of different things here to show how I filled it out. You'll notice if you saw the video where I flipped through the unfilled out one that this is a little bit different. I had to move pages around and remove some pages, but I like how it ended up for me. And you can always do that with junk journals. You can always move things around. So I just wrote here looking forward to, and I put some little flowers because I'm looking forward to watching the flowers grow from the seeds I have planted, which is what I wrote here. So some things take a long time to happen, and I feel like we're really starting to get somewhere now. Even with YouTube, like I started YouTube like 15 years ago, and I took a long break, but I do think that some flowers will start to grow from it. This is just my reminder page that I will be saying yes to things this year that I've been kind of putting off and saying no to in the past. I have a little frivolous bucket list, which I always like to put. So it's not really frivolous, but there's some things that are important to me, but they're kind of silly. So read a John Green book. That's not very silly. For some reason, there's a block in my head. Like every time I go to pick up a John Green, I'm like, I don't need to read that right now. So this year, I think I'm actually going to do it. So if you are a big John Green fan, let me know. Tell me like what's the best first book to read from him. I watch his videos sometimes on YouTube, and like I can tell that I would really like him as a writer, but there's something about it, like maybe because he's a white man and I don't typically gravitate towards reading books by white men. Maybe that's why, but like you can tell that he's different. I think I'm gonna enjoy whatever I read from him. Wear more of my clothes. So this is like twofold. To wear more clothes that I make for myself. The second thing is to wear more of the clothes that I already have. And like the idea of that is to get rid of clothes that I don't actually like to wear. This year, if I keep it up, I'm gonna get a 1,000-day sparkle streak. So that is a fun bucket list item. So this is also a little silly. I have a stuffed elephant, or I have a couple stuffed elephants, but every year the stuffed elephants, they make resolutions, and their resolutions are always to get a Happy Meal. So I put get a Happy Meal on there. Learn how to scan. This is so stupid because like I guess I technically know how to scan. It's similar to like using a Xerox machine, right? But once it gets onto the computer and like you have to like make sure everything is right on the computer, like then it just like something in my head is just like I don't know how to do this. So I think learning how to scan, that might actually help me with a lot of things, like using the Cricut and lots of different things that I have. Sparkle, I noticed that this past year, especially being back on YouTube, I want to sparkle. Like I don't want to leave like a huge impression. Like I don't want to be like incredibly pretty or anything like that, but I just want to like have a little bit of sparkle, kind of like glitter. Try a new restaurant. I am living in the town where I've lived my entire life. They're always changing restaurants, and I'd like to try a new restaurant, I think. Every year we take an anniversary picture, so that's going to be an easy one to do. I want to do a vlog month. We did Vlogtober last year, and I think October might be a good one, but we might do another vlog month where it's not a daily vlog, maybe it's more of a weekly vlog. S'mores and cotton candy. We found a cotton candy machine. It was kind of at a rummage sale, but after the rummage sale, they just put everything out on the lawn. That's for free. And there was a cotton candy maker there, so we took that. And always, s'mores is always nice. I want to have some sort of party or some sort of game night. Maybe one of each. And I think that's a pretty good, easy bucket list for the year. My maker lists. So I have a bunch of different sections. So for sewing, for different kind of journals that I want to make, for junk journals that I want to design and craft, recipes I want to try, and then different art projects that I need to keep on my mind, even if they're on the horizon. And then this is a little kind of separate. It's not really a maker list, but these are date nights that we might want to try. So then for sewing, I want to make something with a heart cut out. I want to make a shirt that has thumb holes, like a long sleeve shirt with thumb holes. I want to make a maxi dress, that one cut jumpsuit, something that's easy that you can just throw on in the summer and it is a full outfit. And then I want to try to make a backpack. So I might not make a backpack, a full-size backpack this year, but I might make a smaller backpack for one of my stuffed animals as like a prototype. This is an example. This is kind of meta. So this is a fresh start journal. So I want to kind of develop that a little bit more. I want to maybe do a project planner, and then I have lots of traveler's notebook ideas that I can make. I have the materials for them. I just have to make them. And then junk journals. These are more of my crafty junk journals that I want to make. So I have fairy door journals and fairy window journals that I have ready to go. I just need to put them all together. Moon goddess journal, same thing. I have them ready to go. But then these two that I just have ideas for, I've been collecting a lot of materials, but I haven't been really making the covers or anything. I have a tea time journal that I want to make, and I have a cottage core journal, which is more like the character in Kiki's Delivery Service who lives in the woods and she paints. I kind of want to have a character that's kind of like that. They have a cottage and they just play music and that's it. And like I want to make a junk journal that is similar or that would fit that aesthetic. These are some recipes that I have on the horizon. I want to do marzipan butter, which is kind of like cookie butter, but you start with marzipan. So I'm interested in that. I think it might be a nice addition to like pastry. If I learn how to make that, then like a lot of our pastries will be better. There's something called Kunamon, which I've been seeing. I saw it on Great British Bake Off, and I've been wanting to try that out for years, but I just like never really felt like it. Falafel, that's something that I think my husband really wants to try, so I want to support him on that. And then I've been hearing of Marry Me Chicken. Other art things that I have to think about. I have the member show, I have the art auction, and I have the print sale. These are things that right now they feel like they're really far away, but those are the kind of things that always come up sooner than you want them to, and they're here before you know it, so it's always good to kind of write them down and get ready for them. This is the date nights. There's a new Superman coming out that my husband is excited to see. Some sort of carnival or fair, maybe something a little bit smaller. Then there's a restaurant here called Candy Kitchen, which it's always a year without Candy Kitchen is not a good year. So I wanna make sure I hit that up this year. I put a little note here of my life long-term goals. So that's it's a helpful way to think about when you think about like where you want to see yourself in like 10, 20 years. And think about like what are the steps that you're making today, like the smaller steps that you can make today to get there. So that's kind of where I start. Like I start with like life, and then I do the year, and then like I kind of break it down into projects, and I break it down into little tasks. So we'll go through that now. So for long-term goals, it's really vulnerable to put these out. So, But these are my long-term goals for life. I want to get a YA book published, or like several, ideally, YA books published. I want to write some kind of other kind of book. So either workbooks, like nonfiction, or I can do graphic novels, children's books, or some sort of like comic compilation, which would, a lot of these other books would be in like as a team with my husband. I want to volunteer, and like one of the things that is really important to me is to feed hungry children. So I don't feel like I'm really equipped to do the volunteer work right now. So I will talk about where the goals for this year come into that. But that's something that I want to do. I just wrote vision here because right now I don't really know what this means. I just know that optometry is going to be part of my life in some capacity as we move forward. So I just wrote vision there. I just don't know exactly what that is. It's kind of amalgamous right now in my mind. Worship, that's another thing that's kind of amalgamous to me right now. I don't really know if that means like I want to join someplace, or if I want to become part of a community, or if I want to make donations. Right now our worship is really just like we live walking distance from the chapel where we got married. So like that's basically how we worship now, as we go there. But maybe I think there's something more in a community that might be part of my life later on. Know my farmers. This is like one of the biggest things that I think like my life will be happy if I do this, and that's if I know the farmers, if I know the ranchers who raise the cattle and stuff, and if I know the farmers that grow my vegetables and all that, and like wheat or whatever, if I am able to know them at least professionally, that would make me very happy. Or like there was a time when I had a milkman, and that was like so great, and I would love to have a milkman again. I would love to help others to do goals that are similar to this. If anyone else has goals that are similar to mine on my list, I would love to help. Having a steady creative income, that's something I've always known that I wanted. As soon as I started working in optometry, I was like, okay, now how do I get a creative income? Oh, I want a work sync. That's like definitely a life goal. That's one of those things similar to knowing my farmers, where I feel like I will have made it if I have a work sink. So like a sink that's like has a big basin, it has a spray, you can have hot and cold, and then if you choose to drain it to the plumbing, you can, or if you choose to drain it to like, not in the pipes, like into a bucket, then you can do that too. That would be like high class in my mind. Like if we could have that, that would be so great. And then, always to help Chris, my husband, achieve his dreams. I, as a wife and a woman, one of my main things that I want out of my life is to serve and to help him too. Alright. So then we can break that down into some bigger goals for 2025. The main things for writing, like the ones that I feel like I'm really at the precipice for, is writing. Editing my books, outlining books to come, and contacting agents. Those are going to be like my big 3 for writing this year. Practice driving. Y'all, I'm on my 3rd learner's permit. I had one when I was 16, one when I was like 26, 27. They expired. And I didn't really, I practiced some on my 2nd one, but then I never went ahead and got my license. So I need to practice driving. And like a lot of the things that I felt like I was unequipped for on this side of the list, like volunteering and knowing my farmers and stuff, I feel like that will be better if I learn how to drive. My husband and I have gone like 10 years without a car, and like we felt very comfortable and confident in those 10 years. Now that we've had like the mental change of like not feeling like we have to drive all the time. We feel comfortable being able to drive in the future if we make sure that we help others and help people who aren't able to drive and help them out. I think that will help us feel more at peace with having a car and relying on the car to get around. That is one of those like moral things that kind of make us feel a little icky. I think if we do get back into driving, we're going to do it very ethical. Also, something that I feel like I'm on the precipice of is YouTube. Being a creator that gets like some amount of money from YouTube, that ties in here with having a creative income. If I'm able to like really plan my YouTube, that will hopefully lead to having some sort of creative income, and then making art will also do that, maybe with Etsy, maybe with some of the craft fairs that we have, or some of the art sales that we have. I am very interested in pursuing that. And then I am turning 40 in 2026, and along with a lot of my friends, I am wanting to plan a really big communal 40th birthday party. So these are all things that are on the precipice of this year. So like this one is like I didn't put it on like the long-term goals, but like, you know, having a good social life and having friends, and that's important to me. Now, to break it down a little bit more, so like I said, this is our like life goals, this is goals for the new year, and then these are smaller projects. Now, on this one, I just did my writing projects because, like I said, that's the one that I think is the big thing for this year. I have 4 novels that I want to edit, 8 novels that I want to outline. I might change this because I don't really know, but these are like my goals, my projects that I want to accomplish this year. I want to research agents. I want to contact other writers that seem to write in my style, see what their process was for finding an agent, see even what their actual agent is. I need to put together my portfolio. I don't know what that's actually called when it comes to writing. That goes into research also. I need to like figure out those terms and exactly what I need to put in there. Then I actually have to contact them. My goals for this year are not to find an agent or to have an agent by the end of the year or to even hear back from agents. But if I'm able to like actually put myself out there and try to make the connections on my end, then that is like such a big win for me, because my social anxiety and my anxiety about my writing has been too high to overcome that hurdle, but I really feel like this year I can do it, breaking it down even smaller. So things that I can do each day through the week, because I had these little weekly stickers that I thought I should utilize. If I think about writing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I usually will go to the library on Thursdays and I can do my writing and my editing on those days. The other days, Monday and Wednesday, I would do my crafting. I would just do the work for putting together my journals. If I think about the weekend for YouTube, then I don't have to be so overwhelmed. I think lately I've been putting up so many YouTube videos, and I think about like putting up so many a week. And if I kind of take it down a notch and think about doing 1 or 2 a week, on Fridays I can film, and then Saturdays and Sundays are for catching up, because some days they're going to be rest days or days that I'm not able to commit to doing things. So Saturdays, Sundays are mostly going to be for catching up. My YouTube and Etsy to think about soon. So then I thought other ways that I can think about my schedule. So I'm going to have prepping. I can do any sort of prepping for the filming. Correspondence. This is when I actually go out and like talk to other writers, other agents and whatnot. And then on Tuesdays, I can upload an Etsy or do my maintenance on Etsy, whatever I have to do. Sometimes I might film little clips, especially if I am crafting on Mondays and Wednesdays. Then I have those other like prep film days, then film, edit, and upload. So hopefully I can keep to like a more regular schedule. And then I just have a couple of pages where I can write more tasks down as the year progresses. So that is how I do more of like a overview of the year planning. You think about what your wants are, you think about like what your long-term goals are, and you can make sure everything is going in that direction. You have your lists, your maker lists that you want to have, you have your bucket list, and these are all positive, fun things. So it's a way to really look ahead at the year to come and think of it in a positive way. So thanks so much for watching this video. This is the end of this Fresh Start 2024 to 2025 Transition Journal. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I will see you next time. Bye. Even filling it out, like I felt like I had so much space, but it is still like really wanting to open up like that. I did not think I would have to put a tie on the end, but I might have to go back and put a little ribbon to keep it closed.